There's a huge myth that bulking is expensive. Totally false. In fact, you could get jacked for under $10. I want to hear all about this, Adam. You said say this.
You know, I was thinking about, I've been sick this last week, and so, you know, eating a lot of soup. Katrina had just got back from Costco, and she was like preparing Max's stuff from the rotisserie chicken. Took me back to, like, you know, when I was a bachelor, lived by myself, and I used to live off of Hamburger Helper. And, you know, it's like if you buy ground beef in bulk, you go to Costco and you get rotisserie chicken,
which they lose money on. That's
it's like $4 for a 2-pound chicken. Okay. And Top Ramen noodles or Hamburger Helper. And by the way,
Top Ramen.
I just want to make this clear, because I know we're going to have some people who are always like, that's not healthy. It's like, listen, if your rebuttal to
must be a junior high
eating and hitting your protein intake in order to build muscle or bulk, which is like one of the number one things I hear for people that say they can't do it, is because it's so expensive to that. You can do that for really cheap.
You can, and I'm going to give you an assist because you said Top Ramen. So I'm going to give you an assist here. like just a bag of rice, dry rice, which has a long shelf life, like Top Ramen, but is also complex carbs, and we could argue obviously healthy or whatever. You could have dry, just white rice, beans, bulk ground beef. You could buy chicken, like you said, and frozen vegetables, and you have very inexpensive, healthy, bulking food right there. Proteins, fats, carbohydrates, everything you need, in a very inexpensive meal.
And for the people that are going to, you know, shit on the health side of it, listen, if you are leaner, more muscular, and you balance your calories out, you're in a better health position than somebody who overconsumes, you know, foods that you would fall in that.
You just said a controversial true thing. A huge percentage of the negative health effects that come from food, not all, okay, but a huge percentage, simply come from the overconsumption of food.
Always live in that surplus.
That's right. So if you, especially if you're not building muscle, or it's just you're always there and you're inactive on top of it, if you look at the studies that connect things like sugar, fat, or saturated fat, or sodium to poor health, what they fail to control for are the fact that those three things, sugar, salt, and fat, are the key ingredients in making food hyperpalatable. So what does that mean? That those people also probably overate.
Yep.
And there's many studies that show, and I'm not saying this is ideal because you're probably not going to feel great eating this way, but there's many studies that show a high sugar diet that's low calorie, people's health improves. A high saturated fat diet, low calorie, people's health improves. So the calories make the biggest difference, not all the difference, but the biggest difference. So to kind of back you up a little bit, Adam, like you can eat certain foods, and if it's within your caloric intake, and so long as it doesn't make you feel bad and all that stuff, it doesn't cause obvious issues, you're going to be okay as long as you don't do it all the time, right?
Yeah, I lived off that stuff for my early 20s for sure.
Yeah, I did the Costco chickens like that kept me alive in college. That between that and I would get all those burger patties that you could just get from Costco that were just like rows and stacks of them, and I would throw it on the George Foreman.
Oh, George Foreman!
The George Foreman was game changer to get me away from the cafeteria. The cafeteria only provided like carbs and like starchy carbs and all that. It just never gave me sustenance.
I loved the George Foreman. The thing I hated about it was cleaning it. And then I found something that they don't make anymore called the Rocket Grill. Did you guys ever hear about this? It used these parchment paper pouches. You'd put your patty in that.
Say that 3 times fast.
Then you'd grill it, and then you have to clean nothing. I was like, this was invented by a dude for sure. Just
efficiency.
I don't like to clean.
Cleaning sucks.
No, but eating healthy, there's a huge myth that even eating healthy in any way, shape, or form is somehow more expensive. And the problem, and I blame our industry for promoting this myth, because what our industry does really well is make exotic things look like they're more important than the foundational things. Like, this is healthier because it's cows that were raised like this, that were fed this particular thing, or these plants which are specific to this region or whatever. So you end up eating quote unquote healthy food, but it's exotic and it's stuff with small markets. And so you're spending a lot more money. It's like shopping at Whole Foods and getting all your stuff there.
If you have the resources, to kind of go in that direction, I mean, that's just a smart thing to consider, is like up your quality of food and nutrients that you're intaking. But, in terms of like getting it done and being able to like make progress and then also stay relatively healthy, like you can do that on a budget, no problem.
Yeah, we actually still, I mean, I don't do the hamburger helper, and I did actually have top ramen.
I've never had hamburger helper, by the way. Is that is that a seasoning?
That's like a staple
all it is a box of noodles with a package of seasoning,
and then you had your hamburger.
Yeah. And I actually used to do a lot with ground turkey. So like I would, and that's how I'd like go. I'd
actually pretty good.
Bulking, dude. I would put. It is actually
processed,
it is pretty decent.
it's kind of bomb.
And for a bachelor, it's hella easy. It is so easy to like follow and make, and it makes this.
Is when you invite a girl over for dinner?
No, I was not trying to. Listen, I've been grilling
really
since I was a kid, right? So I could at least grill. So if I was trying to impress a girl,
you are good on the
so
grill.
if I was trying to impress a girl when I was I would, you know what though? Did you see that meme I posted the other day? The typical guy though who smokes a chicken. Doug would appreciate this. Smokes a chicken for 8 hours and then that's it. Like that's
dinner.
Right. It was a girl who was tweeting something like complaining about dudes that do that, and I'm like, oh, I'm so guilty of that. I'm just like,
there's no sides.
She's like, oh, you're gonna grill today. So she's like, oh, you're cooking dinner, right? And like, all right, here it is. I've been smoking it for 6 hours or like that. And she's like, any sides, vegetables,
fork and knife out.
No, I did that.
How many times have we had a meal like that?
No.
We all go up to Truckee and it's just
I love those kind of meals. It doesn't need to be fancy.
That's why that tweet hit good. I was like, oh yeah, I know there's got to be a lot of guys that can relate to that.
You know what's funny is when I used to bulk, because when I learned how to do it properly and I was trying to hit targets, protein, all that stuff, because I was trying to hit targets, it was really hard. This is before you could find calories and stuff real easy on places you would eat out. I would make my own food, and I would end up, and I wasn't super into like following my budget. I mean, I managed gyms and I lived at home, so but I did notice I would spend less money. I'm like, this is weird. Why am I spending? It's because I was buying ground beef, rice, beans, frozen vegetables, that kind of stuff. It was cheaper than going out to eat, and I was eating more calories and getting more protein. So it makes it.
Do you guys use a lot of like I was saying that I don't use hamburger helper and top ramen so much, but I do. The rotisserie chicken is a staple in our house. That's how we do a lot of Max's stuff. She just tears it off, and then that's his serving is off of the.
It's a big time saver, especially if you get it like already pre-cooked.
Yeah.
Is that similar to hamburger helper?
What is?
What you get? What you get? No, I'm sorry. You said hamburger helper.
Yeah.
What's it called? Manwich or whatever. Is that similar? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that was just in a can, and then you'd like put it in
different.
I've never even seen that before.
So
I've heard of it. I don't know what
it's like. A sloppy Joe.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I only because I just wanted to be strong, and I remember the commercial like it's a manwich, like that's what men eat. Yeah. And my mom refused to buy it, so I had no idea what it was.
I actually didn't even know what that was. That was not.
They used to target like single men, like all the time, especially with those like pre-made like frozen
it's a sloppy
meals.
Joe.
It looks like a can of dog food.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I know why my mom said no. But as a kid, the advertising worked on me. I was like, man,
sloppy joes are good. Though.
It is a sloppy Joe, isn't it? And I forget what's it. Sloppy Joe is basically just hamburger meat, barbecue sauce, and then the bun, right?
Yeah,
is that it?
It just gets all over you. That's
we used to have it when I was a kid.
At least for me,
everything
gets all over me. Well,
what are you talking about, bro?
A regular steak.
You can't even have a. You can't even.
You guys just see all my clothes, dude. It's just like just stains and like chunks of like. Debris.
What was that one time Adam just spilled the whole Starbucks?
We were at Starbucks.
He was so bad.
And what was funny about it was it was when we were going down to see Bishop Barron. I'll never forget it because
I forgot all about that.
We were already razzing Justin about how he eats and stuff like that. I think we just came from somewhere not long before.
He's intense with
and then we sit down to have a coffee or something, and sure shit, it's like all over the place. And I'm like, bro, you can't even drink a fucking coffee without seriously, dude.
I got nervous. I don't know.
You put too much pressure on.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys want to hear something super cringy? So I embarrassed the shit out of myself. So we've been talking in past episodes like how different you are and how much wiser you get as you get older and how 10 years makes a big difference, right? So Facebook has this feature where they show you like, oh, you posted this 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I picture my kids. I'm like, oh my God, look when they were so little. Oh, and I get teary. Every once in a while, it's a stupid post they did 10 years ago.
Oh God.
I'm like, why did I post that? I'm on Facebook. My family's following. All I posted, This is I'm gonna show you guys.
Like an ass pick of yourself?
No, it's just my arm flexing. Okay,
It's just his arm, dude.
and then underneath the caption,
such a
it says
Sal post.
it says boom. That's all I posted.
It says boom.
What am I doing, bro? That's so embarrassing. 10 years. I'm in my 30s and I'm
Recognize.
I hate it.
All your
So
family.
great.
is-
I mean, don't you try now? I mean, the filter I try to look through is like, what am I going to like? Whenever before I post,
Totally.
before I do something, it's like, is this something
Is this
10
gonna
years
stand
from
the
now?
test?
I'm gonna look back and be like, yeah.
Was it you brought up the Twitter feature where it's like they give you a certain amount of time now? Like,
30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Should I post it? Should I not post it? I think that's brilliant.
It is a brilliant. I think that's is it? It's longer than 30 seconds.
No, it's 30 second.
Is it?
I'm gonna say yeah.
I thought it was
You'll have
longer.
this like little circle that you can see the
then you
timer.
can still edit it. Yeah, because that, dude, there's some
Are you
cringy
sure
ones.
you want to say that?
Yeah.
They should have that on text as
Yeah.
well with a breathalyzer.
Did you take a
attached to it.
Xanax before you did this? You know, that should be a question.
Or you just a breathalyzer, and then it says, "All right, now all your texts will have a 1 minute pause,
Yeah.
and know whether or not you should send that text." Anyway,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.